Hello guys, this is a new video tutorial series that I am going to start in my channel Awesome Tunes. So with this tutorial series, I'm going to talk about some of very important concepts in JavaScript and TypeScripts. So whether you are a React Native developer or React.js, or you might be using AngularJS, Node.js, Next.js, so whatever the framework you are using, it doesn't matter. Since you are using JavaScript with your development, you can follow the same thing to accomplish some of very advanced operations within your code. So basically I'm going to talk about like advanced concepts that we can use when we code in JavaScript or TypeScript. Okay, so in this first video I'm going to talk about some of some of very important operations that we can do with collections in JavaScript and TypeScript. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, I have created a new project. This is a React Native project. So like I said before, it doesn't matter what kind of framework that I'm using to show you these things. Since I'm using JavaScript, you can follow the same thing in your framework. Yeah, okay, so I have created a new component, and simply I have created a button in that view, and also I have this function called call. And let me save this, and let me open the console. Okay, so once I click the button, you will see the Awesome Tunes is being printed. So that's what I have done so far in my method. Alright, so first of all, I'm going to talk about what kind of operations that we can do regarding a collection. So first of all, I'm going to talk about single valued collection. Single valued collection is a collection that has basically single values. Okay, so like it can be a number of collection of numbers, it can be collection of names, or collection of some single primitive values. So yeah, when it comes to collections, that is a one type, and another type is we can take object collections. So in object collections, one value will be an object, not just a primitive value, not just a single value. Okay, so let me create a new array. So we can like create a new collection, like let's say x equal I'm gonna put some numbers for 6, 8, 12, 45, and then 13 and 34, 23. Alright, so I have just created a collection of numbers. Then I can define the data type for this variable like this. It's a number array. So since I'm using TypeScript, I can define the data type, but if you are using JavaScript, you don't have to define a data type, or you can't use a data type. So it's really easy to understand when you use a data type. Basically that's why I prefer TypeScript over JavaScript. Yeah. Okay, so I have created this collection of numbers. First, I will show you how to iterate these numbers. I'm gonna use this x variable. So x is the name of the collection of the numbers, and I will just simply say x dot map. So using this map method, we can iterate a collection. Okay, so in that map method, we have to pass a function. We call that type of function is a high order function. So high order function is basically a function that you can pass to another functions. So it will indicate like it will be like you can pass a process into another process. All right, so in this high order function, I will simply define a parameter, and there will be a scope like this. All right, so in the parameter, I will define a variable, let's say t. So when it comes to map, this t will indicate an individual value of this collection. So map will iterate the whole collection and each and every iteration the t will be that particular value. So in the first iteration t will be 4, and in the second iteration t will be 6, and the third iteration it will be 8, so on like that. T will assign all the values according to the iteration type. Alright, so I will just print t. Let's see the output. Okay, I can see all the numbers are printed line by line, and I will put a console line in here so we can divide the output. So we are not going to confuse with the output. Let me try again. Alright, so this is the second output. So second is the same thing. I mean, since we haven't done anything, it will be the same thing. Alright, so that's the map function, and we can also do something like this. We can just print the whole array, and let's see the output. Okay, so we are getting an output like this. It will print the same array. Alright, so the first thing I wanted to show you how to iterate an array. Now let's get into some serious things, serious operations. Alright, so the first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to get the values which is greater than, let's say, 20. Alright, so I wanted to get all the values greater than 20. So how can I do that? So I can use this function called filter. So with this function actually we can filter a collection based on a scenario. So our scenario is that we wanted to get all the values that greater than 20. So how can we say that scenario? We can actually pass that scenario as a function, as a high order functions. So just like we did in the map function, we are going to first define the iteration variable. So this variable will be individually will be assigned these values individually according to the iteration, and I'm gonna say if the value is greater than 20, that is the time you have to filter this collection. So this is the filtering scenario. If a value greater than 20, then you can pick that value. Alright, so this filter function will also give you another collection. This will be a new collection, and that collection will contain only the numbers which is greater than 20. Alright, I'm gonna assign this to a variable, let's say y. Let's print that collection. So x is the previous one and the y will be the second collection. Okay, I will print both collections. So the first I will have print x, and then I have printed y. Let's see the output. Okay, you can see first we can see all the values, but in the second line we only see the values which is greater than 20. Alright, so that's how the filtering is working. So let's say I wanted to get I wanted to select all the even numbers of this collection. So even number means the values that divided more than by two numbers. I mean, you can see you can get odd numbers, and there is this even numbers. Okay, so how you can determine a value is an even number or odd number? You can use the modulus operator. So I will simply say t modulus by 2 is equal to 0. So if a number is divided, when we divide a number from 2 and the remain is 0, then we can say that number is an even number. Alright, so this is how you can find the even number. Then let's see the output. Alright, now you can see I have printed all the even numbers in my second collection. I haven't got any odd numbers. All right. So how that's how the filtering is working. Now let's go to our second method. Okay, now I want to do something like this. I want to get the total of this collection. All right, so I want to get the total of the collection. So how can I get a total? I can use this function called reducer or called reduce to get a value like that. All right, so the total is something that the total is a calculation that happened within the collection. So let me show you how to use reduce to get the total of the collection. You can use this function called reduce. So this function is kind of different when we compared this function with filtered or map. So this function we have to provide multiple parameters. All right, so the first parameter will be a higher order function, just like we used in map and filtered, and there is another parameter we have to pass. All right, so let me explain how this function is working, and let me show you how to get the total. All right, so I now have to get the total, and the total is also a number. All right, so the total will be also a number. So I'm going to first define a function, define an arrow function. So in this arrow function, I have to pass two parameters. The first one will be, let's say it's total, and I will say in a minute why I renamed it as tot. The second one will be the iteration value. So the second one will be always the current iteration value. And what I have to do is next is this. I'm gonna say tot plus t. All right, then I'm gonna pass 0 as my second parameter. So let me explain how this works. So first, tot will be the value that we are going to get as the result of this operation. All right, so that's why I have renamed it as tot. So tot will be the total, and here I have defined the operation that we wanted to get. So in each and every iteration, the current value will be added into the total variable, and in the second parameter we have passed the initial value of the total variable. All right, so the initial value is 0, and in the first iteration total will be 0, and it will add the first value of the array, that's 4. So after the first iteration the total will be 4, 0 plus 4, and in the second iteration total will be 4 and the t will be 6. Then after the second iteration 4 plus 6, the total will be 10. So like that, after the whole iteration we will get the total as the real total of this collection. All right, so the y will be a number now. Since we are getting it as a single value, the y will be a number. And let's see the output. So first I have printed the collection, and then I have printed the total of that collection. Okay, let's see the output. Okay, so this is the collection and this is the total. So I hope you got the idea. So that's how you can calculate the total. Then since you have already calculated your total, you can get your average. So how you can calculate the average? You just have to divide the total by the number count of that collection, x dot length. All right, so you can get the average of this collection like this. Okay, let's try to print it. All right, so this is the whole collection and this is the average. All right, so then let's say I wanted to do something like this. I wanted to get all the values which is greater than the average value. All right, so I wanted to get I wanted to filter all the values which is greater than the average value. So what we can do is, since we have already calculated the average, we can use this value to our operation. So our operation is a filtering operation. So to do a filtering operation, I have just cut this value. So to do a filtering operation, we can use x dot filter, and then we have to pass the scenario, what kind of filtering that we wanted to do. So we wanted to get all the values which is greater than the average. So first we will pass the iteration value. Then we can simply say if the t is greater than, and we can paste the value that we have just got as our average value. So this will be the calculation for average. All right, and if that value, if that particular iteration value is greater than the average value, then you can filter that out. All right, so we are getting actually a filtered collection. I will say new collection. So I'm going to print that in the second console. Okay, let's see. Okay, so according to this output, now the average is 18, and I should get values which is more than 18. All right, so I should get 45, 34 and 23. Okay, let's see. Okay, so as you can see, I've got all the values which is greater than the average value. Okay, so just like this, actually we can use multiple functions and get some kind of advanced value. I mean, this is kind of advanced process, but the the advantages here is that we can actually do all those things within a single line. Okay, so like when it comes to JSX, sometimes you have to do things in a single line. So you can't like use a scope to have a multiple lines. In a situation like that, we can use these kind of methods to accomplish that thing within that situation. Okay, so we have to just like we have to write like just a single line to get the value. All right, so within that single line there is a whole operation. All right, the next thing I'm going to talk about is the sorting mechanism that we can have with the collection like this. So there is a method called sort in every collections, and we can use that sorting function to reorder a collection. So reordering means we can rearrange all the values occurred into a scenario. Okay, so it can be the ascending or descending, or it can be something else. So I can simply say x dot sort, and to the sort function we have to pass the mechanism, I mean the scenario, and according to that scenario the sorting mechanism will be executed. So the scenario is like something like this. So we have to like pass two numbers, n1 and n2. These are two parameters, and these two parameters will take two consecutive values within the collection. So first time, in the first iteration, n1 will be 4, n2 will be 6, and in the second iteration n1 will be 6 and n2 will be 8. So like that we can in the sorting mechanism, these two numbers will define according to that scenario. All right, then we have to define a calculation using these two numbers. I would simply say n1 minus n2, and depending on the value we are getting from this calculation, then the sorting mechanism is going to happen using that value. All right, so if the value is a negative value, something will be happen. If it's a positive value, another thing will be happen, and if it's a 0, another thing can happen. Okay, so what is actually how this sorting mechanism is working actually? Let me explain that. So if the value is minus, let's say first time if we take two numbers like this, n1 and n2, and if the value is minus, then this n1 and n2 will be the first value will be at the first position and the second value will be at the second position. All right, so let's say if the value is minus value, then n1 will be at the first position, n2 will be at the second position. And if the value is a positive value, then the n2 will be a first position and n1 will be in the second position. That means the value is going to switch between each positions. All right, and if the value is 0, that means it is not going to be switched or reordered. It is going to be in the same place as it is in the original collection. All right, so according to this, if the value is 0, again you will get number n1 first and then n2 at the second position. All right, so according to this example, first n1 is 4 and n2 is 6. So the output will be a minus value. That means this 4 and 6 is not going to be changed their position. So 4 will be at the beginning, then the 6. Again with 6 and 8, in the second iteration, n1 will be 6, n2 will be 8, and again I am getting a minus value. Then it will follow the same thing. So 6 will be at the first position, 8 will be at the next second position. Again the 12 is 8 and 12 follows the same thing, and 12 and 45 follow the same thing. And when it comes to 45 and 30, the value will be a negative value, positive value. That means we have to switch these values between their positions. All right, so the first 45 will go to the next position and 13 will come to the 45th position. All right, so now 13 in here, then 45 is here. Again 45 will compared with 34. Again 45 will continue to move on through the collection. 34 will come in here, 45 will move to the next site. Again 45 will compared with 23 will come here. It will switch position between 45 and 23. All right, so now this is the collection. And again when it comes to the sorting mechanism will check if there were any kind of positive values. If there were any positive values, then the whole thing is going to start from the beginning. All right, so since there were some positive values, the sorting mechanism will execute from the very beginning again. So 4 6 same minus, okay, they can be in the same position. 6 8 fine, 8 12 fine, 12 13 fine, again 13 34 also fine, but 34 and 23 again we are getting a positive value. All right, so that means 34 and 23 should switch their positions like this. All right, again 32 4 and 45, it's okay. So since there was one positive value, we have to do the whole thing again. But now this time we won't be getting any kind of positive value, so we will be getting the same output. And according to this scenario, we are getting the ascending ordered collection. All right, so I'm gonna save it and let's see the output. Okay, I will print this collection. Let's say y console.log y. All right, so as you can see, we are getting all the values according in the ascending orders. All right, so if you wanted to make this order to descend in order, only thing we have to do is change these two numbers like this. So in every time if we got a negative value in the previous task, then this time we will get a positive value. So the positive value we got from the task, this time we will get a negative value. So the whole thing will be the opposite direction. We are following the opposite thing in this time. So we will get let's see the collection. Yeah, so we are getting the descending ordered collection. All right, so this is how you can sort a collection using sort function. And this is pretty much everything that I wanted to show you when it comes to a single valued collection. And in the next tutorial I'm going to talk about object collection. All right, so when we talk about object collections, we can do lots of stuff that we couldn't do in this session. All right, so I'll be back with the next tutorial. Thank you.